So starting off this anime, it starts off with a big ass explosion. This explosion was caused by like some bomb that got dropped, and when it got dropped onto the city, it turned everything into like a wasteland to where all these animals and creatures just gets mutated into different types of things. But we're gonna be seeing most of those throughout the anime. In this scene right here, it kind of doesn't really matter. Cutting to the city to where we get to see our first technical main character is Milo, and he works at like this place. I don't want to say because YouTube gonna shoot me, but I ain't gonna lie, they got some baddies in this place. I ain't gonna hold you. But seeing our main character Milo pretty much just help out this son and dad because they have like the disease which is called the rust disease. He's giving them like a shot to where it will slow the spreading. But all around, his entire goal is to try and find a way to get rid of the whole entire rust disease as a whole, just so he can help out everybody, but most importantly his sister. But cutting back to the front of the gate to where we meet our second character, which is Bisco. He's trying to get past this gate because this is the only access into the city. But we're getting caught with literally the easiest bait, and he only gets caught due to the fact of the matter that he did not remember his own lies. Stupid. So with his whole entire operation compromised, now he has to fight the freaking guard to get through. And it's really not like he struggled. He only like got like a scrape from the bullet, but he still made it past the gate. But while being in the city, my man is absolutely just going crazy with that bow. He is putting mushrooms everywhere and taking out helicopters. My man is going crazy. But eventually they're gonna have to kind of like hang low and take like, you know, some time to get the heat off of them because he's carrying around another person, which is Jabi, and he also has the rust disease and it's kind of already killing him. So he's trying to look for a doctor that can kind of help him, which is how he ran into Milo. And to be honest with you, the only fact of the matter that these two were even tagging along with each other was just the fact that they saw Milo as expendable. So after lighting up that entire building, now Milo is just an accomplice to Bisco. So now he's just tagging along because he kind of has to now. So we're cutting to them inside the sewer, and Milo is doing like, you know, anything that he can to try to keep Jabi alive. They pretty much just discuss over what the hell are they going to do next. And this is where they start talking about the infamous rust eater, the mushroom that can literally just eat away at the entire rust disease as a whole. So with pretty much getting that plan established and getting it underway, they still have one thing that they gotta do, and that's make it out the city alive. And the best way that they're able to do that is if Bisco goes out and start causing more mayhem just so they can escape. But while he was out there causing all types of destruction, you know, taking out all the freaking bad guys and stuff, he gets pulled up on by Milo's sister. Now, as you guys seen, that she is also affected by the rust disease, but she does not care because she is absolutely the smoke demon in this anime. And with her unrealistic ass motorcycle, that's just breaking the laws of physics sometimes. And with clashing with Bisco and knocking him through the building, you know she's strong as hell too. That rust disease is not doing nothing to her. But while they're clashing and fighting throughout buildings and stuff, Bisco is trying to explain to her that the mushroom keepers are not the bad guys in this, because the mushroom keepers are actually trying to help with the rust disease. But due to like, you know, the propaganda that the governor of like this entire place has spread about mushroom keepers, nobody believes them, and they always think that the mushrooms that they spread causes the rust disease. But when not listening to what anything he says, she speed blitzes him and just lands a clean hit onto this man's shoulders. But Bisco is a tank himself because he ends up just eating that shit. And with taking that opportunity, he knocks her in the air and lands a sleep dart onto her. So after getting done with that fight, Bisco, Jabi, and Milo ends up just leaving the city, but without Milo saying goodbye to his sister for now, because he is going to find a cure for that rust disease no matter what. And we're saying the final goodbyes because Jabi is going to be the bait for these two to be able to leave the city. They are now on the hunt for the rust eater. With a day or two of them traveling, they decide to like somewhat kinda like get a plan going because they do not know what the hell they're doing. But while traveling, Bisco ends up seeing his friend, which is this giant crab, so now they have some mobility. But before they were able to like, travel any further, Bisco wanted Milo to try and like become friends with the crab's name. Hold on, what the fuck is his name? Octagawa. Why the fuck is it named Octagawa? So we're trying to learn how to ride Octagawa and absolutely failing at every turn. They decide to set up camp somewhere just so they can rest for the night and still plan out what the hell their next move is going to be. But when they entered inside this building, they see somebody that's already in there and she's getting choked out by this big ass giant worm. I ain't finna lie, when I first saw this scene too, bro, I felt like I was losing breath too. Like, you not see how big that worm is? Oh, hell nah. But with saving her life, she decided that she wanted to try to repay Milo for saving her life. And this is possibly the one and only L that I gotta give to Bisco because my man was absolutely just cock blocking. If I was Milo, I would have been pissed. But while they're taking camp inside of this abandoned building, it started to like move around and started to get up and walk. And this was one of like the mutated creatures that I was talking about, of how like these animals become freakishly big and start to like mutate inside of like different materials and shit. Like this one is just like a fucking AA tank. So while Milo is on top of Octagawa, they're running for their lives and Milo is talking to him being like, bro, we need to lock in or else we're both gonna die. And that's when Bisco gave them the call to aim for its head because that's its weak spot. And they both decide to just lock in and crack its skull open, and Bisco delivers the final blow. But just for like the added middle finger, the crab ends up shooting where they were actually planning on going and ends up blowing it up. So we're having to find a whole different route. They end up inside like this desert and then they get shot at by these little kids with guns. The fuck is going on? So after getting captured by them and them taking them to their camp and stuff, Milo ends up just start, doing doctor things and start healing up everybody that's inside the camp. And while they're like, in this camp doing shit, we cut to Milo's sister and yeah, that shit happened. But cutting back to the camp, Milo is like almost done healing up everybody, but then out of nowhere the camp starts to get attacked by these big ass blowfish. So with Bisco coming in clutch and taking out one of them, he goes up to this kid and said that I'm not gonna take out the rest of them unless you give me all the information of the map. And the kid agreed. So each blowfish that Bisco took out was a different location that they learned. So we're getting a brand new map at their disposal. Now they kind of have another idea of where they need to go next. So while traveling, they're in like this tundra area, and guess who they end up running into again? The pink hair chick. And for practically half of this entire episode was just them, talking about their past, their lore, and just how the world affected them after that bomb got dropped. So after everybody got done with their story time, Bisco and Milo ends up just going and taking the train that the pink hair girl ends up repairing for them. And they gave like, their final goodbyes and saying that, hey, we could have been good friends if shit was, different. But while on the train, they end up just getting caught by these tentacle creatures, and Bisco was taking them out. But here's where Milo ends up learning how to shoot the bow. It's possibly like the one in like 3 times that we see him shoot a bow. I'm just letting y'all know that right now. So after making it out of the tunnel unscathed, there's this big ass worm leviathan that comes out and eats this bird. And looking back at like the book that they were reading inside the tunnel, this is the creature that holds the rust eaters. So we're not even thinking of a plan. Bisco ends up just springing into action, just wanting nothing but the smoke. But before they can actually start to put in work on this Leviathan, Milo's sister ends up pulling up and confronting Bisco. But with Bisco literally telling her that this is not the time for this, the worm ends up just catching them off guard and picking up Milo's sister. While taking her up into the air, Milo is already on top of the Leviathan, so he knocks her out of its grip, and Bisco ends up saving her. But while trying to escape off of the Leviathan, Akutagawa ends up getting gripped by its tongue, and Milo has to cut his arm off. Now, while in mid-air, he's about to get eaten by the Leviathan, but Bisco ends up just saving his life with this javelin throw of the century. That throw had no technique, no elbow grease, just straight gas. But it did not stun the Leviathan for long because they both end up just getting eaten by it. But then they just started letting off shots and end up just suffocating it with all the mushrooms. So with finally taking it down, some time has passed and they started to like pick out some of the mushrooms. But Bisco made a shocking discovery that these mushrooms are not active. So with going through all of that trials and tribulations just for these rust eaters to not even work, up until Milo made a discovery that Bisco's blood just activated the rust eaters. So in knowing how to activate all of these mushrooms, they have just enough to damn near save everybody. I mean, but come on. We all knew that the freaking big bad guy was just gonna pull up out of nowhere and take all the rust eaters, right? So with Bisco trying to stop him from stealing all of them, he ends up getting hit by a special coated bullet that gives him the rust. So with getting wounded by that bullet, they end up taking all the rust eaters, and Milo pretty much told Bisco that he has to rest up. We can't just go after him when everybody's damn near wounded. But Bisco ain't listening. But while Milo's inside the cabin trying to like, you know, get food started because they haven't eaten in like, I don't even know how long, there's like a random broadcast that happens on the TV, and he sees something shocking, something so diabolical that it took him completely out of character because he wanted to go back to the city by himself and leave Bisco there. And what he saw was that the main governor bad guy kidnapped his sister and started torturing her. So with having all of that knowledge, Bisco and Milo just ends up just getting into like a small tussle. But thinking that Milo is done, he ends up getting one over Bisco and injecting him with some sleep serum shit. Let's just call it melatonin. So with Bisco being asleep, Milo ends up just taking on this solo job to try to save his sister. And I ain't gonna lie, he was actually doing pretty good. I thought this man was gonna be like folding left and right, but he actually had like a full setup and everything. But you know, just like in typical anime fashion, he just does not go for the kill when he has the opportunity. And that's what causes all of like everything to just happen. With Bisco getting his freaking legs caved in by the darts, and with them, you know, barely escaping with their lives because Milo was getting just tagged by each and every one of those arrows, which was also like hard coated with the rust disease. So he also has the rust, which is slowly killing him. But on the bright side is that while they were doing that, Jabi ends up saving Pau. You know, it took me so long to actually say her name. Damn, I should have kept it going. But now the only thing is that now everybody has the rust disease, and to be honest with you, Milo and Bisco probably has it way worse than anybody, because that, I do not know why, but their immune system is just losing to that shit, because that shit is reacting fast as hell. So with Milo going on his solo mission, Bisco is just done with this. He wants this to be over with. So he ends up just leaving Milo to just finish this. Rust disease in his system and all. But it truly not even like it matters, because even with his body falling apart, he still ends up just finishing off the bad guy. But the sad part of it is that he ends up dying the same, because that rust was whooping his ass too. So with Milo finally getting there and seeing that Bisco is just burning in the lava, Bisco ends up telling Milo to just put him out of his misery with the bow. With no other option, Milo ends up just taking aim and taking the shot and killing Bisco. Now granted, me personally, I would have liked it that if the anime ended like this, due to the fact of the matter that Bisco taught Milo everything and Milo can like take on the mantle of a mushroom keeper. But you guys already know anime does not work like that, because 3 episodes later, my man Bisco comes back and immediately just one-taps this necromech that spawned out of nowhere. And just for more plot convenience, my man is the Rust Eaters now. The Rust Eaters just absorbed into his skin, so now he's able to just fire off Rust Eaters willy-nilly. So with defeating this big-ass monster for the final boss, that is all you need to know about Rust Eater Bisco. Until we get that season 2, that is. Now, if you made it to the end of the video and you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime content. And while you're down there, comment down below another anime you would like to see me discuss or summarize in a couple of minutes, even though this video was like 15 minutes long. And also remember, we do have a community Discord that we're trying to make more active, so if you want to join that, the link is always in the description. But with that being said, there's no bell for today. Pack your bags, class dismissed.